All right, man. Jason, welcome.
Thank you, man. It's exciting.
Yeah, I appreciate you joining me, dude. So, one of the things that I like to do on this pod is before we dive into all the deal making stuff and all the cool shit that you're up to, I like the origin stories, man. I like the
Okay.
prequels. So, I want to know where you're from and what it was like growing up. So, tell me a little bit about your background.
All right. Well, as we discussed earlier, I don't love talking about myself, so I'll try to keep it brief. But so I grew up in South Louisiana, like
Okay.
the country kind of between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, so South Louisiana, like
Oh, yeah.
water boy type of stuff. And
One of my favorites.
when I go back home to Louisiana, my accent gets a lot thicker very
Yeah.
quickly.
I was gonna say, you sound normal right now, man. You sound
Going
totally.
to the Yankees in Maryland, so it kind of it washed away. But no, so yeah, born and raised in South Louisiana. My parents were awesome. My mom and dad, they were both public school teachers for a while. I have three brothers and sisters.
Were you the oldest?
I am the second oldest. So
Okay.
two of my siblings are adopted that my parents did when I was very little, maybe like 5 years old.
Gotcha.
And then my younger sister also, she was a really, really good athlete. She was on like the U17 national team for soccer. She went to Texas
Damn.
A&M, full ride. She's a baller. So
That's awesome.
yeah, had a great youth and growing up and playing sports and being outside and fishing and doing all that kind of fun stuff. And I loved it. It was I can't really imagine growing up any better, to be honest, with the family we had and where we were. It was
I've always been fascinated by Louisiana. So I grew up in Maryland, stayed around Maryland my whole life. It's uninteresting. But Louisiana, to me, I've been twice, and every time it is like a new world to me. And
it's like a whole different country. It's crazy.
Yes, it's awesome. What's it like what kind of community were you? Were you in like a rural area, or is it something that was kind of a track home subdivision? What kind of community?
Yeah, very rural. Not say very rural. It's not as rural anymore. But when I grew up, we had 10 acres. We had a pond. We had woods. We had neighbors that were close, but not really, not a neighborhood. So yeah, it was awesome. I mean, just like playing outside and sports and outdoor stuff, and small house. Packed in there.
Oh yeah.
Three brothers and sisters, 3-bedroom house. But lots of love and great parents, and it was cool. It was really cool.
When did you start getting into sports? Like real young, or was it later?
Yeah, so I mean, I played all the sports growing up. I played, baseball and basketball, soccer. My parents actually had to start. This is how Louisiana for soccer is not really known as a soccer hotbed, and lots of places in the country like Maryland or Ohio, California, Texas, all kind of. My parents actually started the soccer league in my town.
No kidding.
Was, yeah.
Do they have a soccer background?
No, not at all. They just, there was, more of a rural town, and they didn't have a soccer program. You'd have to drive, 45 minutes to Baton Rouge, the bigger city, to do it. So they kind of started it. And again, I kind of played all the different sports growing up, ran track a little bit in high school. But I can't remember the age. It was probably around 13 or 14 where I just really, really got into soccer.
Yeah.
And I obviously had some talent with it. And, but I think back, one of the best things my parents ever did is you start playing travel sports, when you're younger, right? 9 or 10, you start on these teams and traveling all over the place. But one of my favorite memories from being younger in sports was when I was 11, my dad said, you know what, why don't you take a little break from soccer? And so I played baseball with my friends, and I was a good athlete, but I was not a great baseball player, But that kind of spring, I didn't play any soccer, as an organized thing, right? I played baseball with my buddies, and so fun. But I think for some reason that when I came back to soccer the next fall, I was really getting after it. I think
it's time to get it. You're MJ coming back.
Well, it's just kind of the break, and you come back and you realize you missed it, and you want to be really good.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
And back in the day, the soccer stuff, I mean, we used to have to watch the English Premier League was on a random Fox Sports World. We didn't even have cable before the 1994 World Cup, but
yeah,
after getting into it, it's watching all the games in Europe, where back in the day you had to really try to find soccer on TV,
And what time is it on? It's on at 1 or 2 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah, so just random stuff, or it's replays. It's not live, but so it was really cool. And then my parents, again, credit to them, but so I was really pretty good in Louisiana, but it's kind of like a big fish in a small pond kind of thing in terms of soccer. But my grandmother's from Liverpool, England. That's where she was born and raised. And
No
so
kidding.
they helped me. I wrote a bunch of letters to all these pro teams. And when I was 15, I actually had some tryouts lined up for teams in England. So I went over. I lived when I was 15 with my grandmother's friends who were older, right? They were in like their 70s. And I went to school for like a couple weeks, like an actual English school. And unfortunately, I dislocated my shoulder playing pickup soccer in a park. So I never actually had to go on these tryouts, but I spent like a month and a half in England when I was 15. It was just like totally like open your world up to like, you know, drink a first beer in a pub when I was 15, you know, before a soccer game. Saw Beckham play Everton, like from here to there.
Shit.
I mean, it was just like, wow. So that kind of kept the, you know, the soccer love going, you know, when I was.
That's fucking awesome. So we have so obviously, you know, I played lacrosse, and growing up, when you get to maybe, I mean, they have it for a little bit more ages now, but the perfect time was when you're like 12, 13, 14. They would have our rec programs, not really, club was still kind of new back then. They didn't really have much of it.
Yeah.
But they had an exchange program with Stockport, which is a town in kind of near London, I think, in England.
Yeah.
And so they would give us 1 year. Their kids would come over to America for, God, they'd stay for like a month, and they'd play a bunch of different teams from the area. They'd get to live with Americans for a month, and then they'd go back home and try the American cuisine and meet our girls.
5 or 10 pounds real quick or whatever, you know.
100%. And then the next year it would switch, and the American kids would go over there. Yeah. So like the English kids would come over here, and if, you know, somebody was drinking, it was not a big deal to them. The American kids, you go over there, all those kids immediately are like, I'm getting my first beer. Let's go. And everything was a huge deal. And my brothers did it. I'm the oldest of 5, and my kid brothers did it, and they loved it, man. They thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And it's nice to be able to like get into a different culture that's, I mean, they're kind of similar to us, but it's probably not at 15, man. That's got to be wild.
Yeah.
Especially living with old ladies too, but that's probably a better setup than living with some.
They kept me out of trouble. I didn't get in too much trouble. I tried to, but I didn't get in too much trouble.
So when you get back, what happens when you get back from that?
So I get back, and then I can't remember if it was 14 or 15, but I was like in high school. So I came back to, you know, my public high school, and, you know, I had to rehab my shoulder because, man, I dislocated in a park, and they took me to the emergency room, whatever that is in England. But my shoulder was dislocated for like 5 hours.
Oh, like, my God.
I mean, and they had took 3 guys, you know, like you played lacrosse, right? It's their shoulder injury.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The longer it's out, the harder it is to get it back.
The harder it is to get back in.
Up, you know? And so it was like 5 hours. So, you know, after that I had to come home but, you know, rehab my shoulder a little bit, but then really I just started getting after soccer. I don't know the comparison to lacrosse. It's probably similar. Like, my job was to score goals, right? That was my job. Like, I was a pretty good soccer player, but I was really good at scoring goals. Like, there were plenty of people more skillful, but I just kind of had that knack for being in the right place, the right time. But I practiced that. Yeah. I practiced that a lot in my backyard at home by myself, or my dad or my siblings. But I used to we had these big pecan trees. I used to practice shooting at the tree. So if you hit the tree right in the middle very accurately, it'll come back to you. But if you miss or you're off to the side, then you got to go chase it. So I did that over and over again. I practice breakaways, probably similar to lacrosse. There's guys in lacrosse, right, that score a lot of the goals. They just have something different, and they practice that over and over again. So when they're in a game, it's just like second nature. They know what to do. Their muscle memory's there.
Yeah.
I mean, practice that soccer, over and over and over again.
Soccer, lacrosse, basketball, pretty similar. Like, there's different types of scoring. Basketball is probably a better representation of it. You got guys that are spot up shooters, and that's just what they do. You got some guys that are creators, and they can finish really well at the basket. Some of them can finish in the mid range, but there's some guys that are just at an elite level that can do anything. Similar in lacrosse, but there's just a couple of different positions that can do that. And the guys that stand out are the ones that are elite finishers and can create for others too, just because they're so damn dangerous. So that's fucking awesome, man. So you're in public high school in Louisiana. I'm imagining the soccer scene's not incredible, but probably pretty good, and good enough to at least get you recognized. right?
Well, the thing with like soccer back then in those days in Louisiana, like no one's coming to Louisiana to watch high school or club soccer to
Right.
find players. They're just not, right? So it was mainly your club team. So we would travel around the South and travel all over, try to get exposure to college coaches. Like, I still think I have the state record for goals in Louisiana, but again, it's like not the level of play is not that high.
Right.
At least
Right.
back then, right? Comparatively to Maryland or New Jersey or California, right? So kind of going through the college recruiting stuff, like I had one scholarship offer from Cleveland State, but I got lucky because my club coach in Louisiana, his name's Gary Butte, he moved to Louisiana to take over our club when I was 17, I think, 16 or 17.
Okay.
And he's from Maryland originally. His little brother was playing at Maryland. His name was Scott Butte. So he was like on the Maryland team, and Gary kind of like walked me through. I went to camp at Maryland just because of Gary's connection the summer before my senior year. But I was basically very, very lightly recruited by Maryland. I was not given a scholarship. I was promised maybe in the future. I wasn't I wasn't a walk on, but I didn't have any money. Right.
Yeah.
But Saj told me like, we want you to come here. But we also have 3 guys from the U17 national team that are coming with your class. So like, you don't get any money, So it was like, do I go to Cleveland State?
Okay.
They offered me a full ride. I'm sure it would have been fine. Or do I go to the ACC back in the day to Maryland, one of the top programs, conference in soccer, and like kind of try to test myself and see if I could do it. And so that's what I ended up doing. It probably was one of the best decisions with Gary, my coach's kind of guidance, like one of the best things I ever did,
That's awesome, man. That really is such a cool story. We would call them preferred walk-ons. It's a similar situation where coach is like, we don't have any money for you, but we'd like you to be a part of the team. So come and do all the stuff in the fall. For us, fall was kind of our off season, but you're training and doing all the practicing and stuff like that. You're putting in your schemes, trying to figure out who's going to make the team. And for you guys, that's probably spring. I'm guessing spring training. Yeah. Man. And so you come in as a walk-on, College Park, which at that time is, I don't know if you've been back to College Park lately, but
it changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
Just everything.
It's a completely different animal now. And it's like its own little city where before it was, just some like semi-urban campus, and it's wild to see that now. So you go there as a walk-on and then you come out the leading scorer all time.
Yeah, I mean, it was wild. But I actually went there at the very beginning of the summer before my freshman year. So I actually went and lived with Scott, the guy I told you about, whose brother was my coach in Louisiana. I lived at their house in Bowie, Maryland.
Okay. Yep.
And I got a job. I was working landscaping in the morning. So I'd get up in the morning, go work this landscape job. And then they would have, kind of summer, not official, no coaches, but like pickup games with the guys. And I remember the first time going out there, that holy crap. They're so much better than me. Like I was that fish out of water. I was like, holy, it's so much faster. Just like with any level of sports, right? Like the next level is the speed and the decision making is so much faster. I just remember like, I could barely play. Like I don't even know what I'm doing out here, But again, it just you get there and you kind of gradually build into it. And then we had a great team. We went to the Final Four all 4 years I was there. My freshman year, I played I think in every game, but I never started. I would get in, kind of super sub type of thing, 10 or 15 minutes a half. So not, wasn't like go-to guy or anything, but yeah, it was just the level. It was an adjustment period. And that's what it is. Same thing going from college to the pros, there's an adjustment period. And then like being a good pro player to go to like national team, there's an adjustment, right? Even for that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, it was very interesting, but I think what really kind of helped me once I got into school was the spring. So like not the fall season, my freshman year where we're, playing our games. We went to the Final Four. It was awesome. Ended up losing in the Final Four. But then that spring, like one of our forwards, this position I played, got hurt. So he was hurt. So I got to play in almost all the spring games. And I scored a ton of goals. And that kind of like, gave me the confidence to be there, gave the coaches the confidence that, okay, maybe this guy can contribute. And then again, going into my sophomore year, I was not the starter. But again, somebody got hurt ahead of me a couple games into the season. And then I get inserted, and then, I end up leading the team in scoring. And it kind of like went on from there,
Damn.
It was not like
but you stayed ready.
Yeah, you stayed ready. And it's not like a straight line. And that's, I think a lot of people don't really understand or, be okay with. It's like most people are not LeBron James, right? They're not, they don't just go straight. And they have their struggles too. But like most people, you got to struggle and you get knocked down. Can you get back up? Can you keep going? Do you get a lucky break? Do you get, a coach that really likes you versus a coach that doesn't rate you? Or just so much goes into it, but you got to be ready. If you're not ready, then that's on you,
100%. Yeah. I mean, you can have the skill and the will, but if you don't have the opportunity or you get hurt, sometimes that's just how it plays out, man. That's life. What's Sasha like as a coach?
Man, he's awesome. Like, he's not a second dad, but kind of like a second dad. Like, he was a very good mentor and leader. And yeah, he's a little crazy. Everybody knows this about Sasha. I love him to death, but yeah, he's wild, man. He wants to win. His drive is huge. I mean, he came to that Maryland team, I think in the early 90s, 93 or 94, and they were terrible, and he turned it into, based on his will and his, Sasha-ness, he turned it into, won 3 national championships and a perennial, best program in the country. Like, he did that. Like, that was all him.
God, man. What do you think? Like, so you get there, you're doing, you start getting some playing time, then you transition to a starter, then you transition to, I'll say it for you, superstar. What kind of fuels that transformation? Do you just have confidence building on little wins every day?
Yeah, I think so. For my position, right, it was all about the goals, right? You could have a terrible game, you score a goal, you're the guy, right? If you could have a great game, not score the goal, not give assist, and like, okay, what the hell are you doing? You go 3 games without scoring. What the hell is going on? To my very good luck, our teams were stacked, bro. Like, I mean, I played with guys that were way better at soccer than me. My job was very unique, and I had a unique skill set at it. But I mean, I played with guys on the national team, guys that played overseas, guys that played in World Cups. Like, we were stacked. I mean, like, it's great to call me like the star. It wasn't like I had the confidence to know that I had to lead this team because I became a captain, like all that kind of stuff. But like, I look back on some of those guys; they were really, really, really good soccer players. I mean, one of our teams that we lost in the Final Four, I think 11 of those guys played professional soccer.
Damn.
Like, literally everybody that started the game, like, they went on to play professional soccer, and probably another 5 that were freshmen or underclassmen that eventually went on to play professional soccer too. So I mean, we were like stacked.
Damn. That's rare for a soccer team, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was wild, and I mean, just surrounded by a lot of good players and good coaching. But again, we all had our ups and downs. We lost 3 times in the Final Four, in the semifinal, 3 years in a row, until we finally won it my senior year.
Well, tell me about 2005.
Man,
What's that like?
It was crazy. I mean, the feeling of winning it. If I look back on it now, the more exciting part or the more rewarding part is like the journey to kind of get there after losing in those 3. And I remember, like, we went through a tough stretch during the middle of the season. I think we went to Penn State, and, like, we had a couple freshmen that were really, really good that were playing for us, but they were still freshmen, right? And they had kind of, like, the form had kind of gone down for whatever reason. And I just remember I, like, lost it on them on the bus on the ride home. Like, I just ripped everybody. I ripped myself, freshmen, all the guys. We had it out on the bus. You've been on some of those shows probably where, like, screaming, and but it was like cathartic because it kind of got everything out there. And from then on, we were just rolling. We kind of couldn't be stopped, And it was contributions from everybody. Guys, one of our big center backs got hurt in the game before the Final Four. The quarterfinal game, like, broke his face, in a tackle. Then we have a freshman step in who balled out and just big contributors to winning the national championship. He hadn't really played all year, just things like that kind of happened,
Damn.
Yeah. So, but I remember that bus ride back. I always remember that one,
Who'd you guys beat in the championship?
So we beat New Mexico. We beat the semifinal game. We played SMU, smoked them at like 4-1. We just kind of crushed them. And then we won the final 1-0. And I remember I missed like 2 good chances. I should have scored twice that game, and I didn't. But another guy on our team scored, and we won 1-0. And it was like, it was just the greatest feeling. It was Sasha's first national championship too, that he had been like close to for a decade, and just finally got that first one.
God, that's cool, man. That's
and then, of
cool.
course, we went to Bentley's and had a grand old time for the next couple of weeks.
It is the spot. You can't not celebrate there.
By the way, the national championship ball, I think, is still in that basketball hoop above Bentley's.
Is it really? No shit. All right, next time I go, I got to go check it out.
Back there in forever. I'm not a Bentley's guy anymore, but back in the day, it was the place.
Yeah, man, it is great. So when did they announce the Herman Trophy winner?
Yeah, so that was like in January. So the season finishes in early December, and then that was in January.
Okay, so they don't do awards like during playoffs or anything.
No, it's after.
That's nice. Okay, that's nice. Sometimes, like in lacrosse, I know sometimes they do it, and they'll do it in football,
Yeah.
in other sports where they start giving out these awards. And I'm always like a little like, I kind of wish you would just wait until after the season to do that.
Yeah.
So you can, it's part of it. Once I want to include the postseason because that's part of the season.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you add extra motivation to the guys that don't get it. And if you're on the team that has one of those guys, it's like, hey, this guy's the freaking stud. Then it becomes like, great. Now the team that we're playing against is just going to be even more ratcheted up the whole time, giving them an edge. So that's interesting, man. So, I mean, obviously that's got to be an incredible feeling winning something like that.
It was cool, man. But again, like the guys I played with, like, again, I'm a pretty good soccer player. I have a unique ability to score goals, but like, I don't score any goals unless they get the ball to me. I did like so much of the hard work. Like, I mean, I really was a pretty one-dimensional type of player. Like, I wasn't creating that much for anybody else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Our system was set up that somebody had to score the goals, and those were all created by, that group of teammates. So, but it was really cool. I mean, my parents got to come, this kid from South Louisiana. What's interesting though, and this is like just very soccer specific, but Louisiana has like more Herman Trophy winners than any other state, I believe.
What?
With our tiny population. So back in the day, a guy named Jason Garey who went to Duke, won it like in the early 90s. He was kind of one of my guys I looked up to. Like, he went to Duke from Louisiana and, won the Herman Trophy, right? So then 10 years later, 15 years later, I get to do it. The year after me, Notre Dame recruited a kid from Louisiana because I had been scoring all these goals. He was a forward. He won the Herman Trophy. And then Patrick Mullins, who also went to Maryland, who I kind of helped get to Maryland from Louisiana, won it twice.
No kidding. Damn.
Wow. And all forwards, same position. Not one was a goalie, and all strikers that scored.
All strikers, all excellent at putting the ball in the net.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
cool,
cool,
man.
man.
Before too, it's kind of like, I don't know, grew up with like kind of a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, being from Louisiana in the soccer world, and we just
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, man. And plus, there is something down in the water there.
There's something in the water. That's right.
It's probably an alligator.
A lot of stuff in the water.
Oh my God. So, I mean, that's got to make you feel good. So you go on from there to transition to the MLS. Did you get, I assume you're getting drafted, and I don't know how, I don't know if you guys have like a draft party or anything like that.
Not really. I mean, it was basically like, they have like a soccer convention for all the coaches around the country that happens somewhere, and they basically do the draft on the back of that.
Okay.
I was the third pick in the draft. I went to Columbus, the Columbus Crew, so I was there for 5 years, which was really cool. We won MLS Cup while I was there. We won the Supporter Shield, which is like the regular season kind of championship. And again, our first year, our team was terrible. We got smoked. Like it was difficult going from a team that was in the national championship picture every year to like, we were like the worst team in the league, and it was not fun.
I always found that to be like, I mean, it's the same thing in almost all American professional sports. It's where like, if you're really good, you're going to get drafted by the shittiest teams.
Yeah, that's right.
It just sucks, man. And now some of them have like really good talent in place.
Yeah.
And they just either had a bad year, had injuries, or they didn't have the talent that they needed at the right positions. So sometimes it can work out, but other times I just feel like, you get drafted to the freaking Jets or the Browns in football. I mean, just forget about it. It's not going to be an awesome career for you there. You're going to spend your 4 years there, maybe, and then you're going on to somebody else for a second contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long were you in the MLS for?
I think it was 6 or 7 years. I think it was 6 years in MLS, and then 1 year in Carolina, which is like the league below. So it was like kind of like AAA baseball. So I had hip surgery. So I played 5 years in Columbus, 1 year in Houston, and then 1 year for the Carolina team. But I had hip surgery in Houston, and they cut me. So then I tried to go to the Carolina team to kind of score a bunch of goals and come back, but it just wasn't the same after the hip.
Yeah.
I was a good pro. I was a solid pro, but I was not like national team level pro or like, MLS best. I was a solid pro. One thing I look back on, I wish I would have probably dedicated a little bit more and like forced the issue a little bit more in the pros. Like if I wasn't getting playing time, going to get traded. I could have worked harder, I think, in the pros. That's one thing I think that when I look back on it, I could have done better. Could have.
Did you have an agent coming out?
I did, yeah. I did. And he did well, but I mean, again, I was kind of like happy in Columbus, and I was a kind of a squad player. Like I, start some games, not play others. And I should have, I think when that was starting, I should have been like, let's get a change of scenery. And it might have like kickstarted me to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end, like the last 2 or 3 years, I was kind of done. I was looking for something new. I was looking for something different. My body, took a pretty good beating over the years, but 2 shoulder surgeries, major hip surgery, and it gets to be kind of a grind. It really does.
Yeah.
That sounds stupid to be like, oh, you were a pro athlete. Yeah, it was awesome. Don't get me wrong. But it did also become a job. I mean,
Well, yeah, it's a job. It's one of those jobs that like everybody dreams of because it doesn't feel like a real job. But at the same time, like if you don't treat it like a real job, you're not going to have it very long.
That's right. And all right. And then it's not the same money as the other sports. So I'll have you guess. I was the 3rd pick in the draft in 2006, right? I just won the Herman Trophy. I had the best contract ever for a senior coming out of college. What do you think my starting salary was?
$100,000.
$40,000.
Shut up. Oh my God.
I was like, this is amazing. I never had any money, This is great. I got a little money.
This is incredible.
Under Armour, a little money from Adidas, It's like, but again, it wasn't like you were making, even $100,000 or your contract was up for $500,000 a year. I mean, soccer's gotten much better now. So like the salaries have gone way up, but back then, I mean, there's some guys that were getting paid $12,000 a year to play pro soccer.
Oh, dude, that was like professional lacrosse for the longest time until maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, we'll give you $500 a game, and we got free beer over at the bar over there for you.
You guys all crash in a house. It was fun, right? But again, the longer you did it, the older you got. It was kind of like, I'm gonna do something different.
Is the hardest part stepping away from the game, just not being with the guys?
Yeah, I mean, that's the part. You miss the locker room the most and, like, the games. You don't miss the practice, the travel, any of that bullshit. No. It's the guys and just the banter in the locker room and the moments, right? The games, like, where you're getting after it, That's what you miss.
Totally get that.
I think I was just lucky, like, I found this next thing to be, growing a financial advisor business that was intellectually stimulating and, like, another big challenge. So I was able to I feel like a lot of guys, when they get out of pro sports, if they don't know what they want to do and they don't have a passion for the next thing, it's very lonely and it's very difficult. Very difficult.
It's
your whole
depressing and dark.
Yeah, I mean, your whole deal is you're this athlete that people paid money to watch perform this thing, and all of a sudden that is not there anymore. And as soon as you don't go, you're no longer a player. You don't get the same phone calls returned. You don't get the same treatment here. I mean, it's hard. Well said.
Did you always want to pivot to financial planning, or is it something that kind of fell into your lap, or how'd you land on that?
Yeah, it was just interesting because, I mean, somebody sent me a article from the Diamondback, the Maryland newspaper.
Oh, yeah.
Back when I was at Maryland, that I said I'm going to be a financial advisor when I'm done. And so I don't even remember that, to be honest with you, but it's in the paper. You know what I mean? So, like,
it's in there, so I thought about it.
I mean, when I was in that was my major was finance. I had great, business school professors at Maryland, and just, I just dug the finance stuff. I liked learning about it. It was not like, oh, I got to go to this finance. I was like, shit, I'm going to learn some stuff. This is kind of cool. I like how this works, And so, just transitioned out of soccer. I met with a bunch of different firms, a bunch of different people, and, met my business partner now. And we just kind of hit it off. He had worked with some professional baseball players, so he kind of had that athlete connection. And we just kind of started it from there. I did an unpaid internship for him my last year while I was playing soccer, and just kind of worked. I don't know. I got lucky again.
Did you volunteer to do it unpaid, or was he like, hey, you can do this?
When I met him, I was like, you guys have an internship? He's like, well, Northwestern does, but that's like a kind of if you're in college, you got to sell some life insurance, you get some commissions, right? It's kind of like a full-time gig. Right. I was still playing soccer. So I was like, I can't really do that. And I said, do you have one like himself? He's like, no, I don't have one. I was like, I'll do it for free. He's like, I now have an internship program. I just started it. so, again, you can see his humor while we get along, but so I did stuff for him and learned it. And then, after that season, he kind of came to me and said, hey, listen, I want to hire you. There's this opportunity. If this goes well, I don't know if it's going to go well, but if you do well and we like each other, there's an opportunity to kind of buy into this business and we can grow it together and be a succession plan because he's 30 years older than me. And then I was like, can I still play soccer? He's like, no, you have to do this, for real. And so me and my wife, we had just had our first baby. He was 2 months old and had, we had gone on like one of our last road trips for that team that I was still playing pros, and it was like 2 weeks, and I was like, my son had just been born. I was like, F this, dude. I don't want to do this shit anymore. I want to be here with my kids. And so that made it kind of easy, do the transition.
And when you guys settled down, you settled down in Carolina?
Yep. That's the last team I played for. That's where my partner was, Bob was. And man, I love it here. It's freaking sweet.
Carolina's nice, man.
It's like, could be a lot worse. Let's put it that way. Could be a lot.
Well said. Well said. And financial advising, it's not easy, man. That's not an easy gig at all.
I mean, I think now I've been doing it for 12, 13 years now. I feel like it doesn't get easier, but it gets more comfortable. But as you know, like in the real estate world or the financial advising world or any kind of like sort of sales, building out your market, it's very tough at first. And that's why only I don't know what the numbers are for people in real estate, but I bet it's similar to financial. There's only 5% that last past 5 years.
Yes.
So
it's very similar.
Bringing 100, 5 will last, and maybe only 2 or 3 will last 15 or 20 years.
Yeah. Well, you have to build a client base quickly. What I've found in real estate, and it's probably similar in any sales industry, people know you as whoever you were before you started doing whatever it is that you're now doing. So when I first got my license, selfishly and stupidly, I was like, obviously people are just going to be lining up outside the door to be listing their homes.
Can you come do this for me, please? There's inbound calls all the time, right?
Exactly. And so I'm thinking that's how it's going to be. Duh. And it took me 6 months to get my first sale, because after 3 months of sitting there at the computer and being like, why the hell are these people? Where are they? It's I have to actually go out and meet people, and I have to actually go and convince them that I know what I'm doing, which is hard when you're new and you don't really know what you don't know. And you're competing against people that have been in the business for 5, 10, 30 years in many cases. And you did something that's really smart that I was not smart enough to do, where you have a mentor or a partner that is seasoned and that's been in the business that you can link up with. And that made my life significantly harder not doing that. I wish in hindsight that I would have. It would have made my life a lot easier.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have been able to do it without that. And it was just so much more fun to kind of do it with somebody else as well, and share things and go back and forth and learn. And I think our kind of the financial advisor business is kind of broken in that way, because they've been doing it the same way for 50 years. We'll bring in 100 and 5 will last, right? That doesn't matter if it's Merrill Lynch or UBS or Northwestern or it doesn't really matter. They're all doing the same kind of playbook, So I'm trying to kind of flip that now as we're growing our business and to find a younger advisors that we can bring and actually teach how to be an advisor before they have to be responsible for going out and generating all this new business. Give them a little bit of a base salary, not too big because you want them to be hungry, right? There's a balance, right? Because it has to be hard. Otherwise, nothing good comes very easily, right? So I would tell my young advisors, it's going to be hard. I'm going to make it hard. This is a hard deal, but we want to support you to get you there, And so I think that's kind of a better mousetrap. We haven't figured it out totally, but I'm working on it. So
no. Well, what kind of niche do you guys specialize in? Or do you specialize in a niche, or you just take whoever comes to you or whoever's within your network?
When you first start, you basically take anyone that could fog a mirror, is kind of the saying, right? They're alive and they have some money. But as you get into it, you kind of, you got to do kind of segmentation. But we work kind of 4 main groups. We have our athlete group, that's mainly in pro soccer, coaches, agents, just people associated with pro sports and some college sports. And then we have retirees and near retirees. So if they're within 5 years of retirement, work for a company, 401ks, need real good retirement planning. And most people growing money is not that hard, to be honest. It's not rocket science, but taking money out of the different accounts in the most tax efficient way is hard. And most advisors have no idea how to do it. So I think that differentiates us a lot from a tax standpoint. How do you take this money out that's very efficient so you don't end up paying a ton in taxes and you make the money last, right? So that's kind of that part of it. And they work with a ton of business owners from kind of 5 million of revenue to 250 million of revenue that just need good planning. Those folks, we don't want to tell those folks to take money out of their business and put it in the stock market, because their business is usually making 20, 25, 30, 40% per year growth, right? But they also still need the planning to say, okay, if I do sell this, what's the exit strategy? What am I going to do? Am I selling it internally, externally? Am I going to get bought out by private equity? Okay, then I do get bought out and I have $15 million. what the hell do I do with it now? You know, like what is the lifestyle I want? Have you taken care of all the insurance, the risk management stuff? And it's really more about the planning versus just, hey, give me your money and I'll invest it well for you, right? And I think that's a differentiator too. Most advisors just want to do, give me your money and pay me a fee to do it. They don't really care about the rest of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's been my experience as well. What do you think are some of the most common mistakes that athletes, entrepreneurs, or just any kind of business owner make when it comes to wealth building?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest things is you got to hire a professional. Like you hire a professional for everything else. You hire a professional trainer if you're an athlete, right? You have coaches, you have mental health coach, you have all this stuff. You have a nutritionist, right? You got to do the same thing with your money. You got to vet them and make sure they know what the hell they're doing. Same thing for business owners. They're so busy running their business, they need to hire experts, whether it's a CPA or an attorney or an advisor, and have a team built around you that you don't have to think about doing it all the time. You know that you vetted them and they're going to handle it for you. They're going to come to you when there's an issue, and you know you can go to them when there's an issue with you. I think people just don't hire the right team.
Yeah. And how do you sell them on you being the right team?
I mean, a lot of it, man, is I get along with this person. Like, do they vibe with me? Do I like them? Do I want to spend 30 years talking to them all the time? Seriously, from my standpoint, and vice versa. Do they want to talk to me? Do they know they can? Do they feel a level of trust with me and my team that we know what the hell we're doing? Yeah, I got all these CFP and all these things, but in the end, you still got to trust the other human, you know?
That makes sense, man. I mean, like anything else, it's a relationship business. So you got to like who you're with, and now you got to trust them, and you got to know that they're competent and good at what they do. But that's a much more long-term relationship than most of the stuff that we get into. So in the real estate space, you have essentially two different fields. You got residential, which I'm in, you got commercial. Commercial is a much more long-term strategy versus what we do. We just have a much shorter sales cycle. And it's almost like if you have ADHD, residential is going to be great for you. Because
you just bounce this one and it works. Yeah,
exactly. It's a short project, and here we go. Here's what we're going to do, and then we're on to the next one. It's a little sad because I would like it to be more of a long-term landscape, and the only way you can do that is by constantly reaching out to people that you enjoy, that you have good relationship with, and it's taxing for somebody like me that's a little bit introverted and not as much of an extrovert. But it's very different in the commercial space, man. It really is. Let's zoom in on, I'll call it one key win. Do you have outside of your partner and you guys growing your business, do you have a pivotal moment or deal for you personally that kind of elevated you in your business career and gave you that confidence that you're like, you know what, now, not only do I know what I'm doing now, I feel like I'm one of the best at what I do?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think there's a couple things. I think whenever I think back, and it's probably similar in your business, but like when I first started doing this, I was like, I need help to like convince someone to give me $50,000. I was terrified, right? You know what I mean? Like small, right? And then it was like, holy crap, I have this opportunity to win a $500,000 client. Yeah. Holy shit. You know, and you get through it and you do it. You're like, okay, now the numbers don't matter to me. Now they're just numbers, right? But I think the main part of that was kind of getting all those stepping stones to give you the confidence that, you know, like when I started, I didn't have $2 million myself. So why would somebody give me $2 million to manage for them? It's like a mental, like head trash kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Once you kind of get through that and you get through that head trash, I think one of the biggest things for me is I got my CFP, the Certified Financial Planner designation. And I was working on that when I first started in the business. And, you know, we had young kids and I was working a ton and like studying for this test, which is like a really hard test. And then once I did that and I got it, I felt like this is for our industry, this is the best designation you can get. And I did that, you know, like I know more about financial planning than 99.9% of people in this country. I don't care if they have $100 million. I know more. There may be a few exceptions, but having that behind me, like, you know, in every conversation, I know more. Doesn't mean they have to like me or have me be their advisor, or I know more. I can help in any situation I'm put in when it comes to financial planning. I can provide value. Even if they don't become a client, I will provide value to that person. They will learn something new from me. And me, vice versa, will learn something new from other people too. Like, it's not closed off. It's, a constant learning, you know?
Well, and you got to take that chance. And it's pretty similar in our business. Sometimes, I hate to say the term working for free because it's not something that anybody enjoys doing. But sometimes I feel confident in what I do because I have a ton of experience in it. I know how to connect with people. I know my market very, very well. There is going to be times where I'm engaging with people that are not clients of mine that I would absolutely love to be clients, but I'm taking the chance that they might not end up going with me because, at least in our town, you can throw a rock and hit somebody with a real estate license and they're probably related to somebody that has one. But at least I know that while I might not get that person at that time, I know that I put my best foot forward. And while they might not work with me right now, there might be a time down the line, or they might be at a party in a month or a week and be like, oh, you know who I just met? I just met that guy. And he was great, man. He was so nice and he was really thoughtful and engaging and he had all this good stuff to say about this. And, you should talk to him. And that's happened. And you just never know where your clients are going to come from.
Yeah, it's just, for me, it's just kind of like positive vibes too. And I really like this stuff. Like, I like talking about it. I like financial planning. I like investing. I like insurance. I like real estate. I like businesses. I like business owner. Like, I like it. So it's not like it's work, but it's not really. It's like intellectually stimulating. And like, I had one email I got last night at like 11 o'clock at night. Hey, business just sold. Been working on it for 13 months. Just got it. Let's talk. Sweet. Shit. Let's do it, bro. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so excited to like have this call tomorrow morning with my client that's been running this business for 15 years. And finally the deal closed. He's got money in his bank account from all the hard work he's done. Like, okay, cool. We're figuring out, we've already talked about it a bunch of times, but it's like, it's go time. So I'm jacked up. I'm like, let's go. Let's figure it, let's do it. So
that's awesome. Well, that's the athlete background coming in too. It's like, I'm ready. I've stayed ready.
Put me in, coach,
Exactly. I know that I can bring you value and I am ready when you tell me you're ready to go. And I'll be there. Do you have any, not that every client's not a favorite client, but do you have any favorite maybe moments with a client or something that really kind of encapsulates why you do what you do?
Yeah. I mean, for me, some of the best moments where you're like most professionally like fulfilled is like when you have a client that they've accumulated a good amount of money, but they're working a job that they freaking hate it. It's killing them. They're miserable, travel, and you do the analysis and we run a Monte Carlo analysis and we do all the very conservative analysis and we throw all these different scenarios at it. And when I can look at them and say, I'm showing you can retire now and be financially independent with these expectations for the rest of your life and leave whatever you want to your kid. Like, you can do it. And you just see like the like tension kind of fall away from them. And then just sometimes they cry. And some, these grown men, they're just like, I can't believe it. And like, you work so hard. Like, I tell them, quit tomorrow. Throw in 2 weeks. Let's go. You can do it.
Exactly.
Like, especially like a new relationship. They haven't been a client, but I'm meeting them and they're like trying to hire an advisor and they don't know if they can retire. They don't know if they're going to be okay. And that's what most people are worried about running out of money. That's their biggest fear. It's like, I don't want to be, destitute on the street because I ran out of money, So when we give them that all clear that we've stress tested it and you can just see the weight lifted off of them.
That's got to be a great feeling.
It's such a good feeling. And all these people are older than me, right? They're all in their 50s or 60s or 70s or whatever. But it's like they're trusting me with this, and it's a big responsibility, but it's also super rewarding. Or when a client sells their business, right? And they've been building this thing and blood, sweat, and tears. They're working 80 hours a week, and they finally they get the reward that they've been working for. It's like, okay, cool.
That's.
Like it's just that's what gets me. That's what keeps me trying to find new clients, because that's the hardest thing in our business, probably in yours too, is you got to reach out. You got to ask for referrals. You got to talk to people. You got to say, who do you know? You got to say, hey, I'd really like to meet Joe. Do you know him well enough to introduce us? Do you think he'd want to chat? I don't know, but introduce us. I'll call him. I'll give him a chance to tell me no, because most people have shitty financial advice or none at all for the most part.
Yeah, no, that's
they don't seek it out unless somebody calls them. And they, Shane, your friend of Shane's. I love Shane. We just did a podcast together. He said I should call you because you and your wife were looking for an advisor, or, you're about to sell your business and you might need some help. I think I can help. You want to have a chat? Let's set up a call next week. Give them a chance to say no.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, in our business, it's the same. The best thing that we can get is a connection from somebody else that knows you, loves you, trusts you, because that's going to be better than somebody flipping through a magazine and seeing our ad and being like, oh, okay, cool. That's nice.
Of course.
You know?
It's all, if you keep building it out and you have a good team behind you, and we have other advisors and we have like institutional knowledge of things, like, but somebody still needs to make the phone call.
Yeah, exactly.
Or go to the thing, or do the seminar, or whatever it is. Somebody's still got to do that.
You still got to put in the work.
You got to put in the work. And sometimes it's not going to work out, and you think this guy's perfect. Why won't he answer me? Or why did he say no? It is what it is, you know?
Yep.
You never know when they might come back around.
Nah, if you focus on the negatives, it's going to be too draining on you.
I mean, that's where, like in sports, I played center forward and tell other soccer players, like, you have to have a short memory, right? You miss a chance, you can't be thinking about the chance you just missed when the next one comes along, or you're going to miss that one too.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Analyze it real quick, 2 seconds, boom, it's out. It's like it never happened. After a game, I'd be like, I don't even remember missing those chances. I remember what the score, but you know what I mean? Like, you just got to have a short memory, you know?
I'll remember them 10 years later. I'm not going to remember it in 2 minutes now.
That's right. I have no idea. Somebody has to show it to me. I didn't miss that. What are you talking about that, you know?
That's the best, man. All right. Well, I like to wrap it up on rapid fire Q&As on this. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What's the most clutch goal you ever scored?
Ooh, the one that comes to mind is I'm playing for Columbus. We have our rivalry game against Toronto. It's called the Trillium Cup. So whoever won like the season series, you know, kind of the home and away. And it was tied 2-2. It was like the 90th minute. Stadium's packed. Cross comes in. Boom! I score a header, basically to end the game, and the stadium is just going bananas. And I'm going, just like, oh. And that, you know, we're so old, bro. That was actually on YouTube, so it's like, okay, it actually did happen, right? It was like,
it happened.
Easy as it happened, you know. But that was a cool one. That was a cool one.
That's awesome, man. Oh God, I'm gonna check it out on YouTube after this. For any listeners, do the same. Is there a book that you recommend most often?
Man, I used to be a big reader when I played soccer and didn't have 5 kids, so there's a little limited amount of time to read anymore. Most often, man, I give my clients books, like in kind of like business finance kind of books. One that just came to mind recently that I've been giving out to clients is 10X is easier than 2X. It's a pretty interesting kind of growth mindset book. I like one of your real estate books, the Gary Keller book, The One Thing.
Oh, yeah.
Good, right? That's a good one. That good for salespeople, business owners, people that like need to focus on what provides revenue versus all the other shit. You know? Exactly.
You can get caught up in all the other shit.
Yeah, I mean, Atlas Shrugged is just a favorite of mine. Just I'm pretty libertarian, and I think there's good lessons in that book. Other people poo-poo it, but I love it. I've read it 5 or 6 times.
That's nice, man. You might not want to answer this next one. Do you have a go-to fishing spot back home in Louisiana?
I ain't telling y'all. No. We always go to a place called Grand Isle. It's a very, very bottom of the state. One road in, one road out. It's like, redneck Riviera, like outdoor stuff. It is the place.
Hell yeah. Most important financial principle you live by?
Right now with the market being down, don't sell, don't panic in a tough stock market. But really the main lesson is, you got to spend less than you earn. You have to have a savings. You can't run it at 100%, or you're putting yourself in a world of hurt. I got some people that make $2 million a year and spend $2.5 million. It's like, what the hell are you doing? And I got some people that make $100,000 and they're saving, $70,000 a year. So it's really that delta. That's the only. I don't have a job unless people can save money. And they don't have any protection or net worth or security if they don't save money.
Very true. If you could go back to age 22 with everything that you know now, do you do anything differently?
Man, I don't think so. I think I might have tried a little bit harder in the pros and been a little more focused and pushed a little bit harder. But other than that, man, no, I'm a pretty lucky guy. I've got a beautiful wife, 5 kids, a career that I enjoy. Post soccer, been pretty lucky. Been a pretty good run.
That's nice, man.
Yeah.
What's next for you? Do you guys have any projects or goals or any initiatives that you're excited for about in this next year?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to grow the business. We want to get to $1 billion of assets under management by 2030. So that's getting pretty close. We're a little over halfway there, but we need to grow pretty quickly. We've been growing pretty quickly, but I really kind of want to figure out this whole advisor training mentorship thing to make it be a better option for good people that just get spit out of the advisor system. That would make great advisors. They just couldn't do the business development stuff in the first couple of years and quit. Right. Or got let go.
Right.
If I can kind of fix that with a, doesn't have to be a lot. Maybe it's 4 or 5 or 10 advisors over the next 10 or 15 years. I think that would be pretty cool, you know, because Bob did that for me. So I kind of want to like pay it forward a little bit because we basically invented this system kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not that it was rocket science, but like I want to replicate that and see if it works and see. I think it'll be good for our industry. Not that it's going to spread everywhere, but just be cool to help 5, 10, 15 great advisors.
Yeah, I can't argue that, man. Where can listeners connect with you and learn more about you guys?
Yeah, you can just Google us at Meridian Financial. We got websites, we got all that kind of good stuff. We're not too active on social media just because that's not really in my nature. Probably should be, but I just don't have the time. Again, I'd rather pick up the phone and call somebody than somebody. No one's hiring a financial advisor because they saw a TikTok video. You know?
Yeah, but thank you.
It's not happening. Or I post some stuff on LinkedIn. No one's like, oh yeah, let me go give him my money. No, you have to like have a conversation. But
maybe I need to get into financial advising because I also hate being on social.
Man, it's not for me. And because my generation, I was like the first ones where Facebook came out when I was in college. Like,
oh yeah.
Like you had to have a college thing to be on Facebook, like a college email. So I kind of missed it. I'm kind of glad I missed it. It's totally cool. Yeah.
Do you have a final takeaway for listeners looking to either reinvent themselves or kind of take a leap into a new career?
Not really. It's just, I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's the way I'm wired. I don't know why you wouldn't just go for it. I don't know what would be holding you back.
YOLO.
Yeah. And again, seeing those guys that work at a company that they hate it for 20 or 30 years, like really, that's really what you want to do? That's what you're signing up for? Like,
I know, man.
Life is too short. Let's get out there, figure out what you're passionate about, and let's get after it. You know, I don't know. That's just me.
Well, it's the mindset that has propelled you where you are, man. So I appreciate that. So I know you're busy, man. You got to get back to it, but this was awesome, and truly appreciate you. Thank you, man. Thank you.
No problem, dude. It's good seeing you, and catch up anytime.
All right, awesome. Have fun at your conference.
All right, see you.
All right, see you later.